Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. More roster drama going down last night with big changes being made. LEV confirming their additions from M80, but what next for that organisation? Some rumours emerging of a potential merger between the two organisations, especially with M80 apparently getting into some serious trouble with the payment of their players. Is this true? What's actually happening behind the scenes? Because there is some big drama afoot at the moment. Very much enjoyed to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, just a couple of tweets looking back on FNS's career. Nice one here from Yay. Helped me develop so much into the player that I am today. I'll carry the memories we made for the rest of my life. Out FNS, green heart emoji from the Optic days. This was a bit of a response, I think, to this tweet from Chronicle, which was hilarious, although outrageous, but still pretty hilarious. So Chronicle says, "We've been through some of the best times of our careers together, and for that, I will always be grateful." And this, of course, is famously the grand finals, where Gambit beat Envy 3-0 to take the victory, and, FNS, of course, falling short on the other side. So, thought this was outrageous, but also pretty hilarious. Crashy says, "Really, bro?" And FNS is like, "Look, this guy's a creature. I can't believe that he would actually do that to me." Let's talk roster drama, starting here. So, T1, they are making a change, and they are bringing up DH. Now, he's been a promising player from their academy team for some time. There's been thoughts of him potentially getting a chance. T1, they won Bangkok at the start of the year, but this stage did not go to plan. They got crushed out of the tournament in the playoffs in the end, didn't make it back to Toronto, so they've got to consider, okay, what do they do next? Now, the EWC qualifiers are coming up over the next couple of days, and through around the world, and we'll see that in a second again in the Americas in a few minutes' time. But for T1, they're making a move. Now, is it going to be Sylvan who's going to step away? We'll see. I don't know. But this is currently what they're saying. I don't think they've actually officially confirmed it, what they're going to do with their Valorant roster. Actually, no, here we go. They have confirmed it. And apparently they're just keeping everyone. So, yeah, okay, sure, I guess. So, Buzz Carpe is also big listed here. And then we've got DH, Itsu, Meteor, Stax, and Sylvan. I mean, look, if I had to guess what their starting five is going to be, like, they're not going to call up DH not to play him, are they? So, I don't know. That was my thoughts on Stax, Buzz, Meteor, Itsu, and DH, potentially. But, look, who knows? I guess we'll see. They're going to run a 7-man roster, apparently, for the World Cup iteration. So, I don't know. That's all I can say from what T1 are currently tweeting out. They just put this one out there. It was noted, though, that Buzz, Meteor was spotted in a scrim and Sylvan wasn't there. So, yeah, maybe there's something in that. They can only play with 5 at once, can't they? Let's be real. So they've got to figure out what they're going to do. Now, let's talk some Tier 2 drama. There's been so much happening over the last few days. Firstly, here from Funhaver, because they decide that they need to part ways with their team, right? As they say, the team will remain as a core, participate as the relaxed reptilians going forwards, wish them the best, and unfortunately it's not going to work out. The Tier 2 landscape remains a volatile place with heaps of uncertainty and issues plaguing things which shouldn't even be issues, but I hope the right will make adjustments and I can re-enter the scene and support teams again. So, yeah, it's always a shame when this type of stuff happens, but it is totally understandable, and the reason why it just doesn't make sense right now for organizations or individuals that want to support Tier 2 to actually do so. And some of the drama continues here. Now, if you guys saw yesterday, Ambrosia's top man, or at least potentially star duelist Satellite, is being targeted by Qubit Academy to replace Scuba on that team. Now, that's what they wanted to do. They are going to sign him. That is apparently going to be a done deal. But Acrian says here, from the Ambrosia side, this league is a joke. No wonder no orgs want to spend any money in it. Ask admins if Satellite can go to Qubit. They say yes. All of a sudden, they change their mind, force us to play players with Satellite, and they won't let us scrim with him. So this is all potentially complete chaos here. I don't exactly know what's going on and what might change, because, yeah, anyway, Qubit Satellite was meant to be a thing, and it probably still will be a thing, but there was clearly some sort of rule that maybe they didn't initially realize, even the admins didn't realize, that he is not able to go to join a different team this late, and they've got to keep the same team for the playoffs. So Satellite might be forced to stay, but he might be scrimming with Qubit because they're trying to form a new roster very shortly, and they won't scrim with him or whatever. They won't let us scrim with him, which I don't fully understand exactly why. There was even talk about like the coach having to step in and play depending on how the situation transpires. And then T-Dog got involved, of course, from the Cubit Academy side, and says the league made another error and wasn't true to their word. Don't try and pin it on our team. Because I guess what he meant here was that they, as in Cubit, won't let us scrim with him, rather than like, you know, the admins letting them scrim. Because I wasn't really sure how the admins were involved in that. But I guess he means that Cubit Academy, because they're getting Satellite, don't want Ambrosia to keep playing with Satellite even in scrims for these matches. So anyway, T-Dog says it's basically the league's fault, and he says it's unfortunate. Satellite's no longer a player for them, though. If someone has left a team to join a new team, he's no longer on the team. Why would we let our player play on a team that he isn't on? So, you know, that's kind of what they're saying. But, I mean, if they play, then he's going to have to play with a coach or something. Like, it's an absolute mess. I don't understand why. Yeah, as he says, their frustration is valid for their team. They lost a key player on their team. My org is just getting made fun of for taking advantage of the little guy when he's literally joining our team. So, you know, and Acreon then responds because, of course, he's frustrated with it. And T-Dog's like, well, hang on a second, how are we screwing over this guy? We're literally signing him and giving him a salary. Now, I know it's obviously not ideal because they might have to even wait a little bit of time for him to join the roster now. But still, T-Dog's defending Cuba in this case. Acreon then responds and says, well, you tell someone that you confirm with the TOs that they can play playoffs with you guys when you haven't done that, and then they are forced to play with us with no practice. That's screwing them over. But it doesn't matter because you have trailer park education. T-Dog then says that he is a malnourished drug addict with an underdeveloped brain, and you know, it's his classic NA drama. So we're back, ladies and gentlemen. North American drama is back. It's been a while. We've had it in the other regions. China's had the drama with Simon and the Edward Gaming situation. The coach drama, Talon versus obviously Termy from DRX and all this. Frost versus Termy was going over in the Pacific side. Europe has had plenty of drama recently that we've dived into as well over the last few days, even around the league itself. And here we are, Tier 2 America continues to deliver. So, yeah, congratulations, everyone. Everyone's going to have their own perspective on this, of course. And, yeah, the overall feeling is that he won't be joining for the playoffs because tourney admins changed their decisions last minute. So it's kind of tough because effectively what T-Dog is saying is like, look, we spoke to the organisers and they said, yeah, you can do this, you can sign him, you can make the change. Then they decided, no, actually you can't, sorry. But because he's now a Cubit player, they're like, well, you're not going to be scrimming with those guys again, so if you want to play with them, yeah, good luck with that. Play with your coach or whatever. You're not part of the team anymore, although he can't yet join. So, yeah, complete mess. Again, maybe the blame or the criticism here belongs to the league rather than the teams themselves. But yeah, this is Valorant esports, baby. Now, this was the big drama of the last couple of days. M80 potentially exiting the scene. And Chet says, I'ma just pretend I didn't read and hear about that. So M80 yesterday confirmed that their players are going to LEV, and they say Sato and Okonos have been transferred to a new and exciting opportunity. We're saying goodbye to incredible players, and look, I'm sure they've got a bit of money in the bank, but as I said over the last few days, that does not compensate for the loss of what this is actually going to look like, I don't imagine. Okonos says join LEV because he's joined LEV, so it's now officially been confirmed that Rossi is gone, Demon 1 is gone, Okonos is in, Sato is in. Is it going to move the needle? We'll see. Demon 1 and Rossi, talented players, but clearly things weren't going so well. I don't imagine that the work ethic for those guys was really... No, I still think they've got work ethic, those players, but like when the team is struggling, difficult to keep up the motivation, they obviously just needed some fresh faces in there, and that's what they have gone on to decide to do. But what next for M80? That's the big debate right now. Now, this tweet was doing the rounds yesterday, which effectively implied that a merger could be happening. This tweet was then deleted, but so I don't know if we can verify this at all. But the rumor is anyway that there could be some sort of merger with Leviathan effectively taking over some of the operations of M80. Now, this might make some sense because if you're M80 and you're effectively like two of your best players are now going to this other team, what's even the point sticking around for the year? That's the big drama. And as a result, if they could potentially come up with like a merger relationship or something, maybe that would make some sense. The other drama though is this, according to sources, so we talked about them leaving and we discussed yesterday potentially some of the reasons why. Maybe there's even more to it than that though. M80 has apparently been struggling to pay their players. This dates back to last year where players have had to ask, have Riot Games step in for them to get their salary. There are still players that haven't been paid and are working with the player association to make it happen. So, I mean, look, M80, are they doing a bleed, right? Is it bleed 2.0? I don't know. We'll see. They've got other teams and other esports as well, which seem to be fine. So, look, we don't know what's actually happening here. We've got no none of the players exactly have come out and said, oh yeah, this is happening. Weeded in the replies does say what, which kind of implies that there might be something going on here. Like, obviously there's something going on, isn't there? But yeah, it's not like we've got any players coming out and saying, yeah, this is how it is. So maybe they're still working on things, but still very fascinating, right? So what do you guys think about this in the comments? Are M80 going to quit? Are they going to be forced to quit because they can't play the players anymore? Are they, what does that mean in terms of back payments if they still owe a lot of money to some of these guys? Is that where the money from Okonos and Sato comes in handy? They can pay off some of their players? I don't know. Are they even going to be here very shortly? Because if M80 do collapse and fold and quit and leave Tier 2, it's just a terrible sign for Tier 2, but I think we already know that that's a serious problem. Now, the World Cup in Riyadh, there is very shortly a couple of qualifiers happening around the world. This is the team for Crew Esports, and they're bringing in a couple of players. They're bringing in, of course, Traded, and also Nerve. So Nerve, a player that has been done the rounds for some time, and that's going to be their roster, right? So the teams are making some interesting changes here for the World Cup qualifiers, largely because, we even heard rumours that 100 Thieves, maybe EU won't be playing with them because he's not able to attend, or doesn't wish to attend, or, whatever the reasoning is. But in a couple of days' time, these qualifiers are getting underway, but as it stands, we don't know what the bracket is, and we don't even know, exactly which teams these rosters are going to be fielding, right? So that's the big question right now. Very much interested to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Just one final little scrimbuck here. Sentinels playing against the YFP team. They've been looking pretty solid lately on the Challenger side. And of course, that bracket is going to get underway shortly with MV, Ambrosia, Qbert Academy, etc., for the second stage of the playoffs, with all that drama that is currently ongoing behind the scenes. But very much interested to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.